Hey there, so this is how you write an equation for a line that is parallel to the line y equals negative 3/5 x minus 5. And it goes through the point negative 5, 1. Let's clean this up. It's really blurry. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, we'll get there. Bear with me. It's the light. There we go. That's better. All right, so this is the original line. It could say f of x instead of y, one of the two things. The most important thing you need to know is this is currently written in the slope-intercept form. So it's written as y equals mx plus b, where negative 5 is the y-intercept, the x's are x's, the y's are y's, but the negative 3/5 is our slope, okay? So the slope of the original line is equal to negative 3/5. When you are writing a new line and you want that line to be parallel to the original line, you have to use the same slope, okay? You have to use this slope and you have to use this point to write your new line, okay? This is how you do it. I'm going to show you how to do it, the easiest to get you back in the slope-intercept form. There's a couple different ways to do this. So I'm going to go y equals mx plus b. And where my slope is, I'm going to put negative 3/5. I'm going to bring my b down. Now where the x and the y are, those places that are not filled in yet, this is a plus, is this point right here. Here's your x, here's your y. So your y is 1. I just substituted 1 for y. And your x is negative 5. So where the x is, I'm plugging in negative 5. This is going to turn out nice. Let me rewrite this so it looks a little bit better because it's making me a little sad. All right, that's better. All right, now we just need to handle this. You do not need to multiply everything by 5 to get rid of the denominator. Instead, you can just reduce, because notice that these two are multiplied together. You can just reduce. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into negative 5, and so it's now going to be a negative 1, okay? So if we write this, it's 1 equal to negative 3 times negative 1 plus b. I need to multiply these two numbers. 1 is equal to negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3 plus b. And now I just need to solve for b, subtracting 3 from both sides. 1 minus 3, the signs are different, so you subtract, take the sign of a larger number. This is gone, is equal to b. So now we can write our new line. You can write it as y equals. On the exam, I'm going to expect you to say f of x equals, because we now know what functions are. So, but for mom's purposes, she's going to want y equals, and we're going to use negative 3/5. And she wanted the slope-intercept form, which is this one here. So we need to write it just like this. So negative 3/5 is our slope. Don't forget your x. And then minus 2 is your y-intercept. I was going to write a b. Minus 2 is your y-intercept. Okay. That is one way to do it. I'm going to give you another option in case you prefer it better. Same question, same exact question, but instead of using the y equals mx plus b to solve for it, let's use the point slope formula. And that's when you're going to use y minus y sub 1 is equal to mx minus x sub 1. That's the point slope formula, okay? And how you do that is, one, you need to, first of all, know that you're using the slope of the original line because it is parallel. So negative 3/5. So our m is going to be negative 3/5. All right. Our x sub 1 and our y sub 1 is our point 1. Negative 5 and 1, that's our x sub 1 and our y sub 1 right there. So the y is going to stay y, this x is going to stay x, and I'll show you. Y stays y minus y sub 1. So what's y sub 1? It is 1. Equals, our slope is negative 3/5 times x minus our x sub 1, which is negative 5. Okay, that's the setup. Now let's just simplify it. I'm going to bring down the y minus 1. I'm not doing anything on the left. There's nothing that can be combined or anything. I'm going to bring down the negative 3/5. There's nothing I can do with that yet until I simplify my parentheses. X minus negative 5 is x plus 5. Okay. Now I can distribute. So that's y minus 1 still on the left. Distribute on both. So that's negative 3/5 x. Now, negative 3/5 times 5. I'm going to come over here and do this. Negative 3/5 times 5. Notice these reduce, and you're left with just negative 3. Okay. And then the last step for this, because we do want y isolated by itself on one side, is to add 1 to both sides. So y is equal to negative 3/5 x minus 2. Now, this was for a parallel line, and the lines that are parallel have to have the same slope. If instead you're looking for a perpendicular, a line that's perpendicular to the original, that one you're going to have to use the negative reciprocal for the new slope. For the new slope. Just to make sure you have that, because you can use the exact same steps I did for the finding the lines using the points, but if you don't use the right slope, it's going to be wrong. So instead, you could say, what if your slope was 2? All right, then the negative reciprocal, the perpendicular line, is going to have a slope that's negative 1/2, because 2 is over 1, right? So when you take the reciprocal, you're flipping it. So that's the negative reciprocal. What if instead your slope was, let's go with this one, negative 3/5? And then your perpendicular slope for your new line, it's going to be the opposite of negative, or the negative of negative, which is going to be positive. And then you have to take the reciprocal. And so your new slope would be 5/3. If you have any more questions with this, please let me know.